It's hard to believe that just a few days ago I was baking under the hot desert sun. Today things are going to be very different. Good morning from Lake Tahoe. A very cold, snowy morning, beautiful morning here in the mountains. I thought I could switch it up a little bit from my last trip, so here I am. The conditions are very challenging for photography today because we have the worst part of a snowstorm. That is, it's cold, it's gotten very windy. That makes photography much harder and it doesn't contribute almost at all to the images. And sadly we don't have as much snow as I was hoping for. What is it? Probably not even half an inch, a quarter of an inch. Just a little dusty, very thin white layer that is not thick enough to cover all of the the chaos that happens in the forests around here, but just enough to make your life a little bit miserable when you're walking around and especially driving. Anyway, I tried making a few long exposures by the shore of the lake. Nothing amazing so far, but this is just the first of 3 full days that I'm gonna be around, and we have more snow in the forecast in a couple days, more than today. It should be fun, so grab a cup of hot coffee or hot tea, something I would love to have right now, and come along with me on this adventure. This is beautiful. Alright, I think I'm gonna move on. It's snowing again, but the sun is coming out too. The weather doesn't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I mean, I came here, all the way here, just because they had snow in the forecast, but I had no idea. I have no expectations. I have no plans whatsoever. My grand idea was just to come here, to put myself here in the middle of a snowstorm, and I'll figure it out, I guess. That's looking nice. I drove back to town. This is South Lake Tahoe on the California side. This morning I was in Nevada Beach on the Nevada side of Lake Tahoe. I was good, I like that place, but in conditions like this there is not much to be found there. It's better, in my opinion, to be in a more developed place with more human structures, like this one that I'm capturing here. This fence, I think it contrasts very well with the snow and with the mountains in the background. I love the atmosphere in the background as well. It might be my favorite image of the day so far, so I'm very happy about it. frustration was building up. Here I was at a beautiful location with almost ideal conditions, and yet nothing was clicking. Every photo I was taking was fine, but they felt dull and boring. It wasn't until I stepped back, away from the lake, retreating into the forest, that I could finally see a couple of images I didn't even know I was looking for. Day 2 was the in-between day, the calm after the first snow and the day before the main event of the trip. A big snowstorm was brewing to the west, and I knew this might be my last chance to venture out of town. So, despite the struggles of the previous day, I went back to the same spot. Not only because I felt like there had to be something there somewhere, but also because I was running out of ideas of where to go. Thankfully, this time was different. The photographs I made that morning lifted my spirits and made me feel more motivated. I was feeling energized. So I decided to hike to a smaller nearby lake in search of more images. But while Tahoe's waters had been calm that morning, Fallen Leaf was going to be a different story.
It is brutal here. Oh.
The wind was relentless, the cold biting, and the snow continuously stung my face and eyes. It was a fight I was able to keep up for only about an hour before I had to give in. I managed to capture a few images I liked. I'm sure there were more waiting to be made, but I needed to save some energy for the big show that was coming. Day 3 was the highlight of the trip. It was the day I was waiting for. Over a foot of snow was expected. I think you're gonna like the images I made that day. But before showing you how it went, I want to take a moment to thank my patrons for their support, because it makes trips like this one possible. Supporting me on Patreon not only feels good, but it also comes with perks. Behind the scene videos like the one I uploaded a few days ago about this trip to Tahoe with commentary and all the images I made. I also talk about the books I'm reading, the photographers inspiring me, and for those in that tier, a monthly one-on-one call with me. Today I want to give a special thanks to Manfred Gruber, a talented black and white photographer based in Austria. His work is stunning and I'm sure you'll love it. You'll find links to his website and social media accounts in the description below. And now let's go back to the snowy adventure in Lake Tahoe. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful morning, but I'm struggling to find photographs around here. One of my biggest hopes was this golf course here to my left. It looks absolutely stunning in there, but as you can probably see, there is a fence. It's fenced in, so I don't think I'd be welcome there. I might be able to take some photos through the fence though. Oh my God, it's too bad. So beautiful. Look. Yeah, I'm just embracing the fence as much as I can. All right. This is so much better than walking by the side of the road. So I'm on my way to Nevada Beach again, because it's one of the very few places around here that has public access to the lake. Lake Tahoe is a very big place, and yet there are just a handful of spots where you can go, especially now in the winter, because everything else is either too wild, like there are cliffs and it's just not accessible, or very common, it's private. That is so beautiful. I have to capture that somehow. I'm gonna grab the wide angle lens if I can. Okay, so I can't capture the whole tree because it's huge and super tall. I don't have a lens as wide. It is really, really falling now. All right, I wanted to take a lot of pictures of the same composition because it's snowing really hard, and yeah, you don't want like one snowflake right at the the worst spot in the frame. So by taking a bunch of pictures, I make sure that I have at least one. So cool. Well, I'm leaving the beach. I wasn't able to find anything really interesting in these conditions. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It is colder here. It's more exposed. It's windier, and I've been out for more than 2 hours now. My feet are very, very cold. My toes are very, very cold. So it's time to go back. Well, that was a little adventure. It was just over 7 miles walking in the snow. So I need a break. I came back to the room. I'm gonna have some lunch, some coffee, probably lay down for 20 minutes and then get ready to get out again because it's really falling again. It was so beautiful that I skipped the nap and headed out again. I wandered around town, took some photographs, but I couldn't get the golf course out of my head. So I went over and asked the security guard if I could get inside to take some photos. They said I was more than welcome to walk around the property, and here I am on their webcam trying to find something, but they asked me not to walk on the golf course. Bummer. That meant embracing the fence again, but in retrospective, I think the images turn out even better because of it. There's only half an hour left of daylight, but it's still very beautiful out there. It's still snowing, less so, but still falling. My clothes are pretty much dry, so I'm thinking about going out for one last time, third round today. I've already walked more than 11 miles today, mostly in the snow, so it's been quite the workout, but this is why I'm here. This is what I came here for. It was a long drive, it's a long drive back home. Being here is not free, so of course I'm gonna go for it. So this time around, instead of using the zoom lens, I'm bringing the two primes, the 35 and the 85, hoping to use the wide aperture to simplify the compositions, but also hoping to do some photography later when it gets darker. I'm gonna walk up to that street light. It was getting pretty ugly out there. Not so much snow anymore, but it was getting windy, cold, and dark. Pizza sounds good right now. I found myself drawn to streetlights. I took a couple of shots. But I was done. Happy but exhausted, ready to call it a day. It's cold. This is it. The photography part of the trip is done. I give it all, and that's all we can do. I'm gonna celebrate with some good food, a good beverage, and prepare for the trickiest part of the trip, that is gonna be heading back home to the city tomorrow, because the roads are not going to be a joke. After the snow came the cold. Temperatures dropped quite a lot overnight, and everything froze. It took me a while to clear the snow and ice off the car the next morning, but it was all good because I was not in a rush. The roads were icy and there was a lot of traffic. It was very slow going, which I didn't mind because it's a beautiful drive through the mountains. And before I knew it, I was back home, already dreaming of the next trip.